Hello, it is Thursday the 26th of December. I hope everybody had a really good holiday. And if you are thinking about having a quiet night, perhaps tonight may not be it, certainly in Bitcoin and ETH trading. So tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. UTC, which is 3 in the morning in New York, we have the largest ever options expiration at Deribit, which in their history, I think 14 billion due to expire, and of that 4 billion is set to expire in the money. So that means 4 billion. That's usually a bit of an indicator that we could see quite a lot of trading activity once those options expire. The problem is with so many options contracts expiring tomorrow, when you look at where the max pain is, the Deribit CEO says that 84,000 in Bitcoin is the max pain price for Bitcoin. And those max pain prices, the problem with those is they tend to act as a little bit of a magnet price. And so if we look at where we are, unfortunately, the scenario in ETH for ETH options expiration is even more bearish than Bitcoin. The market is kind of really leveraged long in Bitcoin options. So the max pain level is obviously going to be down here somewhere, much lower than where we have been trading for the last 5-6 weeks sideways, around this kind of 100,000 price mark. If I look at big picture, like what happens if we get pulled down there? If I look big picture at where we are from the low that we made in November 2022, there are some people who argue with me that this is, 5 waves up, the high is in for Bitcoin and it's all going to be down here from here. One thing I will say about Bitcoin is it tends to, when it makes a move, it tends to start really slowly, and then fifth waves very often are really, really extended in Bitcoin. So if we count from this low in November 2022, it's very possible that this is the wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3, 4, and all we have done here is wave 1 of 5. So we pull back. Trump comes into power. So much of what he's doing is so bullish for Bitcoin. If you read kind of some of the account proposals for a Bitcoin treasury, like it's really hard to put a number on where Bitcoin could go if that happens. And so given the kind of all the bullish macro criteria, like we definitely need a weaker dollar and more liquidity, and if that happens, I think that we are going much higher in Bitcoin. So I'm kind of favoring the rally that we've had from this 5th of August low as a really wave 1 of 5, which means in a wave 1 you can pull back quite a long way, let's be honest, but most commonly it's kind of 50 or 60%. So 50% from this low, if we put our this 5-wave low that we've had from the 5th of August, 50% back is at 78,000. But this 38.2 level, which lines up with the big, if I measured the 236 February trace from the 22 low to the high that we've made so far, the first move very often is back into that 236 fib level, and that comes in at 86,000, and that's also where this 38.2 is from this low to high. So we're trading sideways, sitting on this 236 fib. It's been pretty important support. If I look at it here on a 4-hour, here we are going sideways, but we already are setting up a scenario where volatility is going to increase, and therefore if we continue underneath 94,000 and these lows, back to 84,000, although I've got my levels at 85, 86,000, I think is where we come back to. If in fact, if we do an equal measured move from here, there are some people saying, is this a head and shoulders? It's not a very balanced head and shoulders if it is, but we could kind of, if we maybe squeeze higher before lower first, which sometimes we see, if a head and shoulders pattern fails, I don't think it's a very good one. It's usually because it's an ABC equal measured move. So if we measure from this high to this low here, like this, yeah, we come down to $82,900, what? No, wait, let's measure. 83,800. So that actually puts us right where the max pain for this options expiration is. Now, Bitcoiners leads the market. So if this happens in Bitcoin, last time, not everything got hit so badly, but it is a good time to keep an eye on your positions and have a plan before it happens, rather than making poor decisions in a panic. Decide what you're going to hold on to, manage your leverage, and what happens after the expiry will be very interesting. But this potentially could be quite an interesting buy zone if we are going to sell off before we head into a Santa rally in Bitcoin. If I look at where the most likely support comes in for ETH, you can see now, if I look big picture at this on the weekly, this is a pretty clear double top, right? Now, when I see a double top like this, I normally say, well, it was normal. It's normal at previous highs and lows, to see a bit of a pause or some profit taking when we come back there. But if you kind of drop more than the 236 fib, it's more than sideways consolidation, and likely we're setting up a bigger zigzag or a bigger corrective move. And so if I measure from this high to low, the first support for me comes in at 2,850, which is where this swing would be 61.8 of this first swing. And, potentially we could go all the way down to the bottom of this sideways range in ETH. But for me, that kind of is the first level that I would be looking at. ETH definitely is not so positively positioned as we head into tomorrow. So watch out, because what happens in this is really going to, so many of these other altcoins that we've been watching have been in, interesting sideways following Bitcoin's lead. And so Bitcoin still really price drives the bus, and Bitcoin is the one to watch. So good luck. Let's update again